So now I want to talk a little bit about my CyberWitch philosophy. Because as I mentioned, Afrofuturism has been a very important tool for me to just understand. It's been an important lens for me to understand myself in relation to society, in relationship to human development, in relationship to technology. It's really helped kind of open my eyes to imagine other possibilities. And so I have taken this framework for myself and created my own CyberWitch philosophy, period. And so my CyberWitch philosophy, in this philosophy, I view myself as a mind, as a consciousness who needs to remain in connection with these astral and ethereal realms for my own type of healing. So if you think about it, everything in reality is information. Everything is information. Every molecule is a form of information. It's a chemical. Chemicals are all information. You see the periodic table, all of that is a building block of information for this present reality. So whenever we're thinking about our spiritual selves, whenever we are doing these types of rituals, whenever we do shamanic ritual, for instance, I've done like a lot of shamanic ritual with mushrooms. So that involves getting into a certain mindset where you can download crucial information for your spiritual development. That could have to do with how to heal intergenerational trauma. It can have to do with the ways that the world needs to change. But these are all ways that we can become more in tune with these higher level realms that have information about ways that we can heal. This is how Afrofuturists, black musicians, black artists, black writers have channeled these messages of healing. That seem kind of like they come out of nowhere, but it's actually from our ancestors and our spirit guides. So it's kind of like you can think of our ancestors and spirit guides as having just moved to another level, another dimension, because reality exists multidimensionally. We have so many ways in modern physics that we've shown that scientists have shown that, and it's all according to different frequencies and different wavelengths. And so whenever we are thinking about ourselves in this CyberWitch philosophy, according to this CyberWitch philosophy, I view myself as a sort of antennae. So I am attuning my antennae so that I can receive the particular message that I need to fulfill my particular true will in this reality. And so let's think about astrology. Why do so many people talk about astrology and being like, oh my God, like whenever Saturn and Pluto are in conjunction, it's going to affect humanity this way? This is because astrology works based on the interactions of planets. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, these planets all have different types of frequencies and different types of consciousness that are associated with them, that they inhabit. And so anytime there is a certain alignment of these planets, let's say the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, this creates a force field. This creates an electromagnetic field. It creates a portal that we interact with, whether we like it or not. This is a part of my theory, but this is a part of the CyberWitch philosophy, period. But don't believe me, just watch. So whenever we're thinking about these planets, let's say we're thinking about eclipses. Eclipses constitute an interaction between the sun, moon, and earth. And so eclipses become portals for us to take advantage of this type of information download that we can receive. I hope I'm explaining it kind of clearly, but all of the planets and a lot of entities are here for our personal and spiritual development, but we just have to kind of tune in. So whenever you have your altar, that is like you are programming part of your reality. You are programming your space to facilitate this portal that you're trying to create to receive these downloads. I would say that one of the most important things about being a spiritual person is the downloads and being in connection with spirit and communicating these sort of multidimensional concepts, these multidimensional visions into language that's kind of like feeding applesauce to a baby. You don't want to give steak to a baby. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like trying to talk about this stuff is like being a baby trying to eat steak or trying to feed steak to an infant. So whenever we're thinking about, in the CyberWitch philosophy, whenever we're thinking about these planets and the interactions of these planets, we want to be thinking about ourselves as antennae who are utilizing these portals, these different types of portals, because the planets, you know, there's different types of conjunctions, there are different types of transits that all create a certain frequency that affect us on a certain level. So this could be in terms of money, in terms of love, in terms of career. All of these manifest on a certain wavelength, on a certain frequency, and planets definitely do have something to do with that. So you can think of the whole solar system as being a super consciousness, if you will, and everything is in interaction with each other. It's kind of like a super brain, and we are a reflection of all of this. That's also the reason that there's a lot of correlations between astrology, the planets, and our inner psychological makeup. Most of astrology relates to this type of psychoanalysis that astrologers have used throughout time. And also it relates to the ways that astrologers have paid attention to the ways that society has changed over time. So I'll just give you an example. Thinking about this in terms of the CyberWitch philosophy, there are so many different time periods when multiple groups across the world have gotten downloads related to a certain human feat. So that could relate to writing, the invention of the wheel. A lot of inventions happen around very similar time periods, and very much so around similar astrological transits. And so that's the reason, like I said, it's very important for me as a CyberWitch who adheres to the CyberWitch philosophy. It's very important for me to understand this ancient technology that my ancestors left me, this timeless technology that my ancestors left me, because it helps me figure out ways that I can download the correct information and proceed with my spiritual development. Thinking about your birth chart, in terms of the CyberWitch philosophy, your birth chart is basically your encoding from all of the different planets. All the different planets have their essences in you, and depending on where they were when you were born, that relates to the particular portal, the particular electromagnetic field that was occurring at the time of your birth, and it also affects how these planets operate in your life. So when these transits happen, how are they affecting your antennae? What kind of portals are they creating? You know what I mean? So that's why I really love birth charts, because like I said, it's like your particular encoding in the position of the universe and the position of the solar system. Let's even go in terms of food. Food is information. So you want to be calibrating your body so that you can receive the right type of information. If you are sitting here eating a lot of low vibration food, your body is not going to be able to facilitate these types of spiritual awakenings and spiritual developments that need to happen. So you need to, one, be mediating your relationship with the food and with the substances that you take in, because those affect your electromagnetic makeup. They affect the types of connections that your body makes within it. They affect your ability to receive these downloads. They even affect your energy. So we need to be getting the proper amounts of sleep. We need to be getting the proper types of food and the proper amounts of food, especially water. Water is liquid electricity, basically, girl. It fuels all of our cells in our body. So we need to make sure that we're drinking the proper amount and types of water. In a similar vein, we need to be calibrating our energy whenever we are meditating, whenever we are at these altars, whenever we're using stones, whenever we're using crystals. These are all ways of attuning our electromagnetic field. So we need to really be using these tools. I hope that this was very clear. Let me know if you want more information on it. I know this was a huge just dump of all these concepts, but yeah, this is kind of a part of the CyberWitch philosophy that I'm like teasing out. So let me know what you think about it, and I will go on the live and do more about this. But yes, get into it.